There you go. Every vote counts. So we're looking at about 60-40, right? So 40% of people... all right, so let's look at this here. We'll go ahead. Yeah, about 60-40. So, like, 40% of people in this chat...
Okay, so basically it's a question of regarding early access. I'm not going to buy it, 58%. I don't like it, but I'm going to buy it, 24%. I'm going to buy it, 16%. I will say that I ultimately feel he forgot one particular category, which would be I'm not going to buy it, but I'll buy it later secretly, because that's always been a thing with any video game controversy. So this video actually stems, you can see it right there in the back, from this Reddit post. Osmond and all WoW streamers need to put this shit on blast. This is a subscription-based game, and this shit was bad enough with 4D being B2P. Okay, so the basic issue here is that most people, you know, even if we were to look at the comments that were made in the Reddit post, I'm not going to read them. I'm just going to pause. Well, I'm not going to pause it. You can pause it if you want to read it. The biggest problem that we see with these particular comments and similar comments to this is this all correlates to a few things. One, in regards to the comments, is it's now affecting other gamers. And I think this has always been the biggest problem within the gaming community, is kind of like real life. You know, if somebody dies in somebody's family and you don't know them, but for some reason you see it on the news, you don't really care because it's a person you don't know. We don't really usually care about something until it somehow directly intervenes within our own life and affects us. This is same with our hobbies that we have. So in terms of video games, we had our moment to all band together when DLC was first announced, and I and many other gamers ignorantly and arrogantly thought that it was going to be the equivalent of a PC expansion pack, but it turns out that it was more like taking out the stuff that they used to hide in the game, play it, use a cheat code to unlock it kind of thing, and now it's hidden behind a paywall. We had our moment back in the day to band together to nip this in the butt before even your average consumer would start to purchase it. The game in general, or the games, and then eventually filtering to DLC, micro DLC, so on and such forth. And it doesn't help that people would complain, for example, back in the day about pre-order bonus stuff, and then go and use the codes, because it's like, if you use the codes, and I'll admit I'm guilty of this shit too, we all play our part in being a part of the problem rather than a part of the solution. I think that's one of the biggest problems with the video game community as a whole, is that we had our time to nip this in the butt, but we never did. And this is where gaming is today, not because of the whales, not because of your average gamer consumer that doesn't come on the internet, doesn't watch streamers or YouTubers or anything like that. It has everything to do with the online-based community that potentially had that moment to deflate this when it started, and we ultimately never did anything. And as with most stuff, shit rolls downhill. So when it comes to like comments like this, the early access is the worst pre-order bonus ever. How is that the worst? Why is it the worst? Objectively, it isn't. The only reason why you're currently saying that it is here in the now is because it's now affecting you. But where were you when other gamers were complaining about stuff that you more than likely were like, well, don't like it, don't buy it. And now all of a sudden, that mentality, don't like it, don't buy it, is now affecting you. And the irony from don't like it, don't buy it is nobody actually followed that in its fullest capacity. Most people, when they iterated that, was towards the, you know, the cosmetics, the microtransactions, the DLC, pay to win, to pay to make it easy. You don't like it, don't buy it. Quite simple, right? But then there was plenty of people that were like, I'm going to still go buy the game, but I'm not going to buy any of the microtransactions. You're just a different kind of whale to these developers and publishers. You're no better than the whales that you ultimately lay claim that are why gaming is in the state it is, when the reality of it is gaming is in the state it is because of every gamer. Every gamer in some facet has played their part in what gaming is today. And that's because gamers do what they do best. We talk a big game, like right now, but when push comes to shove, what do gamers always do? Shut up and they continue to play the game. So why would a developer or a publisher try to not do a lot of these egregious stuff when they know gamers will still go buy the game? Why do you think Bethesda continues to release the games in the state that they are? You can't sit here and say it's for the spirit or the nostalgia or whatever bullshit. It's because they know their consumer. At the end of the day, they may complain, but eventually they'll shut up and they'll play the game, as they always have done. Gaming is in the state that it's in because of us. So when it comes to comments such as these, you're just as much to blame as every other gamer. Because there was once a time, I guarantee you, that gamers were complaining, voicing their thoughts and concerns about some kind of negative aspect in gaming that they did not agree with, but there was plenty of people like this that were pretty much like, well, it's not my problem. I don't really care. Don't like it, don't buy it mentality. When the reality of it is, the whole idea behind don't like it, don't buy it should have been don't buy the fucking game in general. But many gamers were like, I'm going to buy the game, but not the microtransaction. And the only thing that told publishers and developers is that this is okay. They'll complain about it at the end of the day, but they'll still go buy the game. And not only that, we get some of them that will actually buy the microtransaction. This is working for us. I mean, we could sit here and put all the blame on the publishers and developers. I've done this in the past in older videos. But at the end of the day, what it all comes down back to is the gamers. We didn't have the backbone. We had plenty of words, but we didn't have the spine to stand up for whatever it is that we thought we believed in. Now, there's just one more comment here. Osmond doesn't have a backbone anymore. He will say it is what it is and just continue to cry about it for at least another 5 react videos and remind us how we don't matter. It is what it is. I'm sure that'll help the situation. And it's like, what have you done to help the situation? What have any of us done? Not a fucking damn thing. You want to sit here and you want to put all the blame on these big ass streamers because somehow in your tiny little ignorant world you believe that if they stood against this shit it would make a difference. But statistics, numbers don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. The publishers just have to look at any gaming controversy throughout the years and what have gamers done. They've got on YouTube, they complained, they got on Reddit, they complained, but at the end of the day, they shut up and they eventually just played the fucking game. Because that's what they're good for. That's what they do. That's what we've proven to do time and time again to these publishers and developers. So why should they take the time to take any of us seriously when money doesn't lie? Because when you look at it, what's the reality? Are we not making money from this? Or are there just a few random gamers on the internet making a big ruckus? So it seems like a lot of people. That's exactly what it is. A few gamers on the internet making a ruckus. But at the end of the day, even if every online gamer was making a ruckus, money doesn't lie. You travel back in time to SimCity when they released it with DRM, or even the Xbox with its no used games. And those are two game controversies that we looked at and we were like, we're winners, we won. But the reality of it is we didn't win. Both of those had not been released yet. So they could look at that and they could be like, we're probably not going to make any money if we actually go down this path. We better reverse this shit. But whenever it's come to a controversy where it exists, the game is out, gamers have always done what they do best. Shut up and play the game. And when that developer or publisher releases another game, nobody thinks about the previous mistakes that they've done and they're worried about them because they go and buy the next game. Look at Madden, look at FIFA, Electronic Arts, Activision, Konami, Blizzard. The list could go on and on. So, at the end of the day, what all of this amounts to, not that this, is that it means absolute dick. You can't take responsibility for your own inaction when this was actually, could have been nipped in the butt. You probably made excuses. You probably were one of the people, well, don't like it, don't buy it. And now that it's affecting you, you have a problem with it. Well, you can do what every other gamer has done throughout the ages. You can just shut up and go play your fucking game. Because we all had our moment, and money doesn't lie. We've told the publishers and developers what we do and don't like. And they're going to listen to where the money is going, not to people on the internet.